Discipline is freedom. It is a ritualistic exercise in overcoming resistance. So I was having this chat 2 or 3 days ago. Timeline is not fucking important. But the question was, how do I get motivated? They came to me and they're like, you're the person. I know you'll have the answer. How do I get myself motivated to do exercise, to, get back into fitness, to start eating right, to do all those kinds of things? How do I get motivated? And look, there is a string of things that we went through. You need a solid fucking purpose. You need a reason beyond yourself. And it needs to be something that will get you through the dark times. Like, hey, I'm not really comfortable in my jeans, or, I don't really want to take my shirt off. I want to go to the beach. These kinds of things aren't like, it's not when you have a massive fucking day and you get to the end of your day and you're like, I still have to work out. It's not going to get you through that. It's 100% not. It's got to be something bigger than you. It's why I, as a father, identify and speak to fathers, because I'm like, as a father, that's what drives me. My beautiful son, and him wanting me to lift him up and throw him up in the air and carry him around. Like, we went to the zoo today and he wanted ups. He was exhausted. He was tired. So I spent most of that day carrying my son. So did my wife, carrying our daughter. We took turns switching back and forth between the two of them. That's a reason why I cannot afford and refuse to neglect my physical health for my children. That's a fucking big reason. And beyond that, to set a great example for them, to lead by example so that they go, working out is normal. My daughter, and I was having this discussion with her today, and she's like, are you going to work? And I was like, no, I'm working out. She's like, so yes, you're going to work. She just associates that me working out is part of my job. And I was like, that's not a bad way to view it. Yes, it is part of my job. It's part of my job as being a father, as a husband, as a man, as a role model, as a leader for our family unit. My job includes working out and eating right. We were down, doing stuff the other day, and they were talking about it, and she asked for an ice cream. And we were discussing whether that was the right thing. And then someone else asked for one as well. And she was like, no, we don't eat too much sugar. Sugar is not a good thing to eat. It makes us feel bad. She's already associated those things, that she knows that eating good food makes her feel good. And sugar and things like that is a sometimes thing, because that's set by an example. She told her cousin that my daddy doesn't eat sugar because it's bad for you. That's been set as a standard already. She now associates those things as they are sometimes food. There is always time for those kinds of things, but they are sometimes things. They are not all the time things. We are setting the standard and building that into who they are at a very young age. So that's what drives my purpose. But you need a purpose. You need a motivation. And then the other thing I said to her is, when we're setting goals and getting motivated, just make it an everyday thing. There is no question. Freedom is discipline. Make it ritualistic, that this is how we beat resistance. You don't give yourself an option. There is zero option. This is what I talk about with a zero choice mentality. That when you remove it, you burn the boats, you remove the option of saying no, motivation becomes superfluous. You just show up and get the fucking work done, because you're going to show up and get the work done. That's how we get there. That's how we build this. That you don't have to think about it. There's no anxiety. There's no stress. There's no thought process around this. It's just getting done. End of story. Every single day you have to work out. Every single day you have to go for a weighted walk. Every single day you are eating according to the plan that has been written out. Meat, fruit, raw dairy, honey. End of story. There is nothing else. You don't have to think. It doesn't require any thought process, because it's just getting done. That's it. And everyone thinks it's really restrictive. It's really hard to stick to something. I'm like, it actually makes it so much easier, because there's no thought process. You get asked, hey, do you want to have a drink of alcohol? No, I don't. You don't have to think about it, because it doesn't align with what you're doing. Hey, do you want to skip that workout? No, I don't. I'm going to do that workout because that's what you have decided. That decision has already been made. You don't need to make decisions about this. There's a ritualistic exercise in defeating resistance, because resistance worms its way in when you give yourselves options, when you give yourself an opportunity to do it. It's also why I state, workouts that aren't workouts. Like, today I walked around for 5 hours at the zoo with my kids. That doesn't count as my walk. It's not a weighted walk. It is not a designated workout. Things like this are going to happen. There are going to be days where those things arise. That doesn't count. It has to be a pre-programmed, pre-planned, specified thing that counts as your workout, because then you're removing all the thought process. You don't give yourself the opportunity to create the loopholes, to create, disconnect with that. Resistance lives in the loopholes. It lives in ambiguity. It lives in uncertainty. It lives in those times when you get to the end of the day and you're fucking knackered. And that's where resistance rises. It's why most people crack on their diet on the weekend or late at night. Do not give yourself the opportunity to do it. Set in stone, these are the things. It's why at the start of 126, we lay it all out. Here is what we are doing every single day for the next 126 days. There is no room for ambiguity, for wiggle room, for, reading between the lines, moving things around a little bit. It is just happening. And I've refined this process as I've gone through, because even me, the person who created this concept, has found that I created loopholes or, little things that moved around my rules to find ways to get, not deliberately, but just naturally, because we naturally seek these loopholes and things to make it kinder, softer, gentler, more comfortable for ourselves. But that's not the point. The whole point is that we are trying to carve away the things that do not serve us. If it doesn't make us money, it doesn't make us happy, and it doesn't grow us, we are not fucking doing it. We are trying to become the best versions of ourselves. As I said, is there a place for these things? Absolutely. I get this all the time. So you don't drink, you don't eat junk food, none of that. I was like, no, not while I'm doing this. Does that mean I don't fucking enjoy it? Absolutely not. The one I always come back to on this is, if I didn't have fitness, I would be an obese alcoholic. Unquestionably. Potentially also a drug addict. I fucking love that shit. I have a bar in my house. I have more rare and expensive whiskeys than most people my age. I've been collecting them since I was 18 years old. Since I was old enough, my first job was in a liquor store, and I started collecting rare and special spirits. Like, that's what I do. My wife is a pastry chef. I can sit down, throw down a large pepperoni pizza with aioli, 2, maybe 3 tubs of Ben & Jerry's, chips, lollies, chocolate, the whole 9 yards. I will just sit there and fucking chow down. Sit there with a whiskey, open a bottle of wine, I'll go to town. I fucking love this stuff. And that's part of why I create zero choice mentality around it. Because I know what I'm like. I'm an all or nothing person. And I'm weak with that. So I remove the temptation by removing it as even a fucking option. There is no option. It gets presented to me and I'm like, no, I'm good. Doesn't mean I don't want it. Doesn't mean I wouldn't enjoy it. Doesn't mean I won't enjoy it later. There are very specific times a year that I break out and I enjoy it. My wife's birthday, my birthday, and Christmas being very specific options of that. But the rest of the time, when I am on this program, I am dialed in, because it's about more than that. It's more than the simple pleasures. It's more than sedating myself through these things. If we go out for a great meal with my wife and we enjoy that, we enjoy the mood, the meal, the wine, all that kind of stuff with it, that is an experience. Sitting on my couch, watching TV and eating junk food is a fucking sedation. That is me hiding from something. That is me accepting resistance and hiding from the greatness that is calling me. And that's what I believe most men are doing. We are just sedating our way through lives, hiding from the greatness that is calling us. The greatness that is calling us to be the best father, husband, and man we can possibly be. And we're just pissing it away to enjoy TV, to enjoy social media, to enjoy food, alcohol, drugs, junk food, whatever it may be. Porn, whatever the things that will allow us to hide and get that dopamine hit, but not actually do the things that are going to serve us. That's why there is zero choice. That's why discipline is freedom. We are removing all of that. You are just going to do this shit every single day for 126 days. This is how you create freedom, because you just show up. You know, until you cannot go to bed until that shit is done. It is hard some days. It is really fucking hard, and you'll have to figure it out. And there are days where you will go to bed really late and you will have to sacrifice sleep. And no, that isn't a positive thing. So you need to work your shit out. And people go to me all the time, oh, Lachlan, I just don't have time to do, workouts that much and stuff. How much time are you spending on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TV, video games, porn, food, just mindless wasting time? I know I'm a more disciplined man than most, and I am still wasting far too much time. It says I spend at least 3 hours a day on my phone. That is 3 hours a day I could be utilizing for better things. What does yours say? That doesn't include TV. That doesn't include laptop. Doesn't include computers. How much time are you pissing away on things that aren't benefiting you? How much time could you dedicate to it? If we audited your day and we looked at every 15 minutes, would all of that be useful? And I'm not saying you can't have fun. I'm not saying that you shouldn't enjoy your life. I'm saying enjoy it doing things that actually fulfill you, enlighten you. And I can tell you for a fact, and I am the same. I was having this discussion with one of my friends this morning. I have to be harsh on, I have an app on my phone to block Instagram and all the social medias. Why? Because I fucking will just doom scroll like no fucking tomorrow. And he's like, just change the algorithm so it's beneficial. And I was like, he's like, if you don't like it, just don't do it. It's like, it's not that I don't like it. I enjoy it, but it's not healthy. Like, I'm not actually getting true enjoyment from it. It's like, these little dopamine hit, these little giggles, and I'm just like, fuck, I've just wasted another hour. That is not enjoyment. That is not fulfillment. That is not beneficial. These aren't things that are bringing me any benefit into my life. They are wasting my life for what? What do we gain from these things? So you need to take a harsh look at how you're looking at your life. You need to take a harsh look at what you're actually spending your time on. Because I would happily spend hours playing with my kids, doing all that kind of stuff. That is fulfillment of my soul, my spirit, of who I am as a man. That is fulfilling their cup. That is creating, connection and development and growth for my children. That is a beneficial thing. If I struggle to find time to work out because of that, I'll make that trade every day. I will give up hours of sleep so that I can do that. I'm still going to get my shit done because I'm leading by example, but I will give up my sleep so that I can spend time with them. If I'm wasting time because I'm on this fucking thing, no, that's a fucking problem. So this is the thing. Discipline is freedom. And it is a ritualistic exercise in defeating resistance. And resistance is never going to go away. Never. You just get stronger in here and in here and building that habit. Because that habit, that muscle, that motivation to overcome it, to do the things that have to be done, that is a fucking muscle, and it can be trained. And it must be trained every single day without fail. And here's the sad part. It's the kick in the teeth. It's the same as fucking exercise. The second you stop, it starts deteriorating. Yes, you can gain it back faster, but it starts deteriorating the second you stop. So you have to just keep working on it. Keep chipping away. Keep doing the work. This is how we chase greatness. This is how we find out who we truly are. What potential we have when we slay the dragon of resistance and we push forward and we extend that gap between average and who we know we can be. This is how we find out what we're truly capable of. As a father, as a husband, as a man. I don't know about you, but I want to leave a legacy for my children. I want to leave a legacy that they go, Dad chased every dream, and yet he was there for us. He showed us how to do it. He loved, he cared, he showed up, but he always did the work. That sounds like a man who lived a good life. I don't know what it's going to be like at the end of it all, but I know what I can control today. I know how I can show up as the best father, as the best husband, as the best man. I know what I can control. And I'm going to go out every single day and I'm going to take control of those things. I'm going to build that muscle. I'm going to build that inner fire and that motivation to be the best version of myself. Question is, are you going to do the same? You can join me right now. It's 126 days. And it'll transform your whole fucking life like you wouldn't believe. The choice is yours. Until then, talk soon.